Today we're talking about gear, but not just any gear, specifically gear that I think every content creator, filmmaker, aspiring freelancer can use. Some things I wish I bought sooner, and some honest opinions about gear that I might not have needed to purchase at the time. All the gear today will be linked in the description box below, and those links do support the channel. But any money I make from those links I pay forward to help small businesses with free or discounted content services. But without wasting any of your time, let's get into it. So the first piece of gear that I think every content creator, filmmaker, even if you just own a camera, should be is a camera cage. Overall, cages are pretty inexpensive and they do a bunch of different things. So you get all these mount points all around the camera for other gear, and they add a fair amount of protection because it is a metal frame. This is easily the best $20 I've ever spent on gear. This is a Magic Arm from SmallRig with the clamp. This is an adjustable friction arm, and you can change the angle so you can mount it on pretty much anything. I've mounted cameras to these, lights, microphones, you name it. Pretty much any photography accessory can mount to these. They come in a bunch of different shapes and sizes, and there's a bunch of different brands that will make them too. Like this is one that's specifically for a monitor, but my favorite is definitely the SmallRig for the price and the value that you get from it. Now, something I didn't think I needed last year was a V-mount battery, but this has easily become one of my favorite camera accessories. These are a little bit more expensive, but they provide so much value and so much power for your rig. This one from SmallRig is the 99 Pro, and this is the largest battery that you can travel with. And with this, I can run a monitor and my camera for a full day of shooting. That way I don't have to continue to swap out these Sony batteries. If you're new here, hey, I'm Dom. I'm a freelance creative based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is a new channel focused around all things photo and video, and what it's like to run a small creative production studio in 2025. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I'd love to have you as part of this community. If you're not new here, welcome back to my 4th YouTube video. And one of the most important pieces of gear that you can own as a freelancer is good sounding audio. Now, over the years, I've purchased a bunch of microphones, but if I could do it again, I would just buy 2. And the first being the DJI Mic 2 set. This is easily one of my favorite purchases of last year. Now, a few things about these mics. The case is phenomenal. And when you open it, you get this little LED display showing you how much battery each device has. The microphones themselves can record in 32-bit float, and they can actually record directly to the unit. And if you press the power button once after it's powered on, you can swap between noise cancellation modes. And if you're shooting on an iPhone, it actually comes with this little USB-C adapter, so you can plug it directly into the bottom of your iPhone, and then you can use one of these or 2 of these as a microphone. And if you're a Sony shooter, it gets even better because DJI sells this little tiny mic adapter that interfaces directly with the hot shoe of the camera. So you can plug the hot shoe adapter in, then you can slide the receiver directly on the top. And this will get rid of all the cables that are running around your camera. And then the second microphone I would recommend is a good quality shotgun mic. This is one that plugs directly into the 3.5mm jack. But my favorite is the MKE 600. One thing with audio is if you invest in a good microphone, it's gonna last you a very long time. Now, another piece of gear that I think is super underrated are external hard drives. Now, if you're shooting a ton, this is incredibly important because the hard drive on your computer will fill up incredibly fast. I like these Samsung T7 drives. They have a nice rubber exterior and they come in a bunch of different sizes and they're pretty inexpensive, all things considered. One thing that is important when you're editing off of a hard drive is making sure it has a fast transfer rate, and the transfer rate on these is like 1,000 megabytes per second. So it's fast enough for pretty much anything I could need. Now, one of the pieces of gear that I almost wish I didn't purchase at the time would be my Ninja Ultra. And not because it's a bad monitor. The monitor is fantastic, but at the time of purchasing it, I really didn't utilize all of its features. As I've grown as a filmmaker and freelancer, having a high quality monitor and external recorder has proved to be pretty useful. And a good quality monitor is one of those things that it is okay to invest in because it will last you a very long time. One thing I wish the Ninja Ultra had was touch tracking. And that's a feature I find myself grabbing my iPad for because it has the ability to do touch tracking. Like in this video, I've been able to touch track either my hand or the product to make sure it's all in focus. This app is Monitor Plus, and if you already have an iPad or an iPhone, the app itself is free, but if you want some of the more advanced features like adding a LUT, it's only like $20. Now, one of the cheapest things that I purchased last year that made the biggest impact on the quality of my footage would be filters. And you can get filters at pretty much every price. Like these filters are cheap filters from Amazon. This is the K&F concept, and this is a newer filter. And I think anyone who has a camera should have at least a mist filter and one variable ND filter. An ND filter is essentially sunglasses for your camera so you can continue to film at cinematic settings, and a mist filter gives you that cinematic glow, especially around bright lights. You can get filters at pretty much any price point. Like the cheap ones from Amazon start at probably around $30. I have a Polar Pro set. This is a little bit more expensive. This is a magnetic filter set. And then this is a Nisi filter set. The reason I picked up the Nisi filter set was because of how thin they are compared to the Polar Pro set. Now onto some random stuff that's really inexpensive and really useful. These are clamps, and you can get them for $1 or so at pretty much any hardware store. I definitely recommend having a few of these in your kit. The next thing that's been super useful is this cheap set of camera screws that I got on Amazon. This is just a set of different screws and spacers that you can use when rigging out your gear. Now, the next thing I think everybody should have is a multi-tool. This is a multi-tool from SmallRig, and just about every camera tripod or rigging accessory will fit on here. I also recommend tossing in your bag is just a set of Allen wrenches. The only difference between this and a multi-tool is how long the actual Allen wrench is. Something else that I think is really important to bring, especially if you're on a shoot or location with a client, is gaff tape. I use this to tape down cords, whether or not it's a high traffic area or if I'm just wrapping it to a tripod quick. This stuff is really useful. Now, one of the last things is having good quality cables, especially if you're kitting out your camera. And I love the Kondor blue cables. I love the color and the quality that you get with these cables. They're all braided cables and they're coiled so that you can keep them out of the way. And you can get them in different sizes and variations. I went with the right angle kit, but you can get them in the straight kit if you want. Now, the last thing is something that's not very cool, but it is incredibly useful. And that's just bringing some extension cords and a power strip to every set. I always feel like I get my light in the perfect spot and the cord doesn't reach. So that's why this will save you a massive headache. Again, if you're new here, I'm Dom, and this is a brand new channel focused around all things photo and video. I run a creative content studio, and a major part of my life is supporting businesses and entrepreneurs with content. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I'd love to have you as part of this community. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.